Hi. Can you hear me okay? Oh, poo. Yeah, mine changes so often it's ridiculous. Definitely is. You've got to go to mixer and then up everything to high. That is very true. Yes. I'm trying to work out why your voice. Can somebody say something? Hello.
Something.
2, 3, 4.
Listening to Britney Spears.
Oh, that's working. That's good. I need to invest in a mixer.
Do you?
Well, yes, I had to run it by the wife first.
Early Christmas present?
I've had too many of those so far.
Birthday present?
Yeah, I'll book the years in advance.
Or Christmas present for her?
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. Might not survive that one though, but
I did want to get her a copy of WoW for a birthday present, just so I could play with her.
I'm surprised people are still playing that thing.
Oh, so it was the Cataclysm, whatever it was, one years ago. 10 years ago, Christ.
Yeah. See, I gave up months after. I think I lasted 2 months of that.
It was all right.
I went back to EverQuest 2, which was a much better game in my mind. But
Yeah,
everyone else stayed in WoW.
I like EQ1. I still do like it. Randomly pick it up and play.
See, I didn't lose my account. Piper lost my account, but I was playing Dark Age of Camelot, beta testing that. So I gave him my accounts to play while I was testing, and something happened, and when I tried to get in touch with Sony to play my account never existed apparently.
No.
So everybody remembers Tabby, but the account never existed. And then years and years and years later, it was like, come back to it. And they actually gave me the account name and everything. So it's like, well, so coming back to join you lot was a no-brainer because, a no-starter rather, because they'd lost the account.
Yeah. Well, I've got my Dark Age boxes still up there, all of them. But do you know what I'm missing? My UO boxes. They're at my ex-wife's. And she's like, no, I don't have them.
Yeah.
And I was trying to reactivate and get my code, my account, my original account back. And it's impossible unless you have the codes.
I think I still remember my account details, but when I logged in, it was horrible to look at. I had such good memories of it. It's like, yeah, I don't want to go back because it'll ruin them.
Yeah. Yeah, being there, did it with PlanetSide.
Yeah. Sneaking through Darkness Falls with some of the guildmates when Midgard had taken it over was so much fun.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, I love doing the... I used to run the Duke raids. And it was great watching... who's the American lady who used to play with us?
Amber.
Is that, no, Amber?
Amber was that? No, Amber was UO. because there was all the drama with me and Teclis. Teclis threatened my life because we used to group up together, me and Amber, and he went nuts. He was only a 16-year-old kid at the time. But he threatened my life. He did interviews. Basically, there was a magazine article where him and Amber had got married after meeting in UO and things. It was all lies. She knew nothing about it. He was going to go over there. Then, well, what game was it I bumped into him? I think that was possibly Dark Age of Camelot. I bumped into him years later, and he says, "I don't." A totally different name. He said, "I don't know whether you remember me, but I was Teclis," and he was so apologetic.
Oh, bless him.
He'd grown up by then.
Yeah, puberty had passed by.
Yeah, but at the time he was threatening my life, and it was like, yeah, okay.
Teclis was the first person we kicked out of Clan UK, wasn't he? Yeah, I think he was. He was the first person we actually kicked out of Clan UK.
Oh, right.
And the second person was Rugworm.
See, Ruggy was okay in small doses.
Yeah, I can't remember why he got kicked out, and I know.
Our Lord and Saviour Sorentar is here. Yeah. Good, thanks, buddy. Yourself? You're feeling a bit buff. Was it leg day? Yeah. In the steam room. Oh my. With some champagne and the ladies? What could possibly go wrong? We are live. We are. Yeah, wibble. Did it seem a good idea at the time to get that lamp? It's Halloween. Yeah, there'll be a 16-year-old South Korean guy there next. You sound fine. You like an 1980s Max Headroom video. Again. No, I was just watching something, a video. Not anymore.
And I think we wrapped up about there, didn't we?
Yeah, they just come out, and I'd warned the head librarian that I think Dr. Suleiman's up to something, and he may be at risk from an attack from them.
That is correct, yes. Well, it's late in the day. In fact, it's probably evening time now, having spent most of your day in the I won't call it the dungeons, but the underneath.
Undercroft.
The undercroft, that's the word I was looking for. I knew it had croft in it. I was thinking it wasn't Lara.
Lara, yeah.
In the undercroft of the cathedral, you emerge to another warm but dark evening.
I think we go back to the car. Our driver's been waiting patiently.
Oh, he has been waiting very patiently.
And head back to our encampments.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to keep an eye out for anyone that looks like they're watching us or the library. So scan around just in case someone's warned somebody and there's some thugs waiting to ambush somebody.
I nearly said give me an investigation, a perception roll. Wrong game. But give me. Let's have a look. Alfred. Okay.
Sense trouble.
Sense trouble is good. Is that an active skill though?
It's
Yes, it is. So it would be opposed by stealth, I believe. Or it could certainly be opposed by stealth. Let's have a look.
it's my perk.
Stealth or shadowing, I would have thought, depending on what they're doing.
Yeah, shadowing probably is a good one.
And my benefits disguise or if I'm shadowing.
Well, that's really rubbish, isn't it? All right, give me a sense trouble roll. Spend as much as you want. 5. Look at that. 2 point spend. Nice 2 point spend. Okay. You're about 5 minutes out from the cathedral. You're now in the car heading back towards base, or towards the Italian camp, just on the outskirts of Axum. There are not a lot of vehicles here. There are some, of course, but most people get about on camel or mule or foot. The majority of people who drive around in vehicles would tend to be somewhat related to the Italian army. But every now and then, as you round a bend, you see behind you sort of a flash of light that kind of gets brighter and then turns. There's definitely a car of some kind that seems to be at least on the same sort of road, going in the same general direction as you.
I'll warn the driver. I think we may be getting followed by since the library. Can't be sure, but I assume that you know a lot of the cars in the area, with it being a rarity. Do you recognise it?
Oops. The captain kind of looks through the mirror. Unfortunately, with the twilight, the light of the general darkness of the town, city, the light of the car behind you, it's very hard to tell what it looks like. Vaguely, it's the same shape as the car you're in. So it could just be an Italian officer returning back from Axum.
Well, maybe do what I saw in the cinema once, where if you take a right, and then the next right, and then the next right, and if you're still following behind us, it's following us. So,
with that, Gabriella takes the next right. He drives along that for about 200 yards. The car behind does seem to turn in exactly the same direction as you. And then Gabriella kind of shrugs apologetically and sort of says, there is no next right, but I can take the next left. So he takes the next left. And my God, that's a big marshmallow. And sure enough, the car takes the next left.
maybe I don't. You know this area, miss. So maybe if the next time we turn out of sight, find an alleyway and park up in it and turn the lights off.
Okay. He nods and turns left again. As he comes out of the turn, he kind of floors the car and then very quickly turns into a narrow alleyway about 20 or so yards further down. The car just fit. Put it this way, you're not opening doors. If you wanted to get out of the car, you're going out of windows, basically. And as he turns into that, he pulls down a couple of yards, 4 or 5 yards, to try and swallow itself into the darkness, kills the lights, kills the engine. And about 30 or so seconds later, a car goes past. It looks like a typical Italian army staff car. Not too dissimilar to the one you're driving.
Can you make
You
out any of the occupants? Or is it too dark?
too dark.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Alfred, this is more your neck of the woods. What do you suggest?
Well, now we kind of lost them. If we go back the way that we came, they're going to have to try and find us again. It's Gabriella, isn't it, the driver?
Yeah.
Do you know an unusual route to take back to the camp that someone wouldn't normally take?
He. Let's have a look. Yes.
We also do have the option of backing up out of here and sort of following them.
Oh,
So
that's
I'll assume they'll go a distance and then
could do.
the question is whether they stop dead and turn around and then see us coming back the other way.
Yeah. Or they just stop and we've got a confrontation.
Yeah, I'm more concerned that I've left my gun at back where we came from.
Went to a library, I didn't bring my gun. I've got knuckle dusters, but I have to get up close to that.
Yes, I've just got my knife.
Though it worked quite well on the last time that we met someone in the car. The PI.
Oh yes.
Do you want to follow them, or do you want to just get yourself back to the camp?
Safety probably, guys. Yeah, you're right. Just head back.
Okay. The journey takes another sort of 30 minutes. You get the sense that Gabrielle is taking deliberate steps to be as random and unpredictable as possible. Every now and then he'll pull into an alleyway and he'll go scooting down an alleyway. A couple of times he pulls into alleyways, gets sort of halfway down the alleyway and realizes he's got to reverse out. But by and large, the next 30 or so minutes, you kind of work your way in a very non-direct route to the outskirts of Axum and into the Italian base camp.
As we're approaching the base camp, I'll keep an eye out in case the cars knows where we're going and is just waiting to pick us up again when we get there. Might just I've driven on and then waiting, say 10 minutes out from it to pick up the chase again.
Nothing. The car doesn't make an appearance.
That's good.
So you pull back into the camp. Gabrielle kind of speaks to the gate guard who kind of waves you in, and he pulls up outside of your tent where you were staying and lets you disembark. I will be available for you tomorrow should you need me.
Thank you.
Breakfast with Akuna will be at 8 sharp.
Thank you, Gabriel, and
Thank you for your help.
very good driving.
Anything you want to do that evening specifically?
Get some food, because I don't think we've eaten since the library.
You haven't eaten for a while.
Yeah, good idea.
The mess tent is, by now, it's probably about 9 or so o'clock in the evening. The mess tent is quiet, but the cooks can get you some food, fairly straightforward. There is a couple of soldiers speaking Italian quietly. But beyond that, no sign of Acuna. He doesn't come to see you. You're sitting on a table and are left to your own devices.
Ralph, what do you suggest we do when we go to this dig tomorrow?
You get any further insight? I wouldn't recommend sharing it in public place if you did, but
I think the reason he's looking for this information is because of what was missing, and what was missing was specifically about we have the Azuna stone to potentially look at, which we need another permit for, don't we?
I would have thought permits for everything around here.
And it was specifically the missing information was about the formation of the church, wasn't it? But we also got the it was a toad-like entity.
Yeah.
It's the worry of him digging below the obelisk, though, isn't it? Because didn't we have a worry that there was another entrance there?
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. There is something about something going on there.
And there's also that we found interesting was the ritual of cleansing information was suspiciously absent from all documentation as well. When it occurred, what it who, where, what, when, and why were all missing.
But I think I said this afternoon in the library that wasn't it strange? Maybe the cleansing ritual was to stop this thing from opening, like the mouthers.
Potentially, yes.
And that's why it's random. They don't know how the power's building up inside. I still find this stuff awfully strange.
would the cleansing
That's
ritual
because it is.
Yeah.
could the ritual be more modern than the documents that you're reading? So that's why there's no mention of it. Could have been something that they've learned more recently than the information you had access to.
What was the latest date in that book?
17th century.
I thought they were doing the cleansing ritual from like the founding of the.
Yeah, so
I didn't think it was something new.
Who invented the cleansing ritual? I would assume would have been the people against the cult in the first place. I can't see why the cult would actually come up with it. So it would have been someone that's turned away from it came up with it originally.
Maybe it's something that's been going on for eons or millennia, and then they just brought it more publicly into it's a ritual to mask what it truly is.
It's all speculation. We need to
So we've got.
Find some.
All right, you think we've got the Azana stone to look at for potential information, and we've got the actual field, the North Field, is it? To go to and
Northfield.
look at.
Oh, we've got a permit for that
Xenos-
for the dig.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Xena stone. I don't know whether that's linked to the other one because he wiped out that cult, didn't he? So this is another cult that is possibly a different entity. Xena was the one against Golgoroth, wasn't he? Well,
Yeah, King
we know
Azana.
that.
He waged the war on Cult of Wazab.
Yeah, whereas the one that we're kind of up against is one pretending to be Golgoroth, but isn't Golgoroth.
Could still be one in the same as cults go.
Could be,
And to be,
especially with him being a liar.
yeah, and to be fair, how do you know you've wiped out an entire culture? You can kill a nation, but if
Yeah.
one person gets away,
Yeah. Either way, I suspect that we're going to be watched by whoever was tailing us when we go to those fields. So go
Oh.
armed.
I wonder if our
I
American
just assume we're being watched at all times anyway. So after being
Yeah.
punched in the face, or slapped on the back of the head, I assume we're being watched at all times.
Yeah, luckily, as far as I know, everyone that's been keeping an eye on me, I've tended to spot.
how do
And
Solomon's
the only one that did stalk me was friendly.
Yeah, actually, when Solomon's put people on to follow us because of what we were looking at.
Yeah. But is he going to try and get it out of us or as the head librarian?
Well, I think maybe he's just more interested in what we're doing. That could be the actual thing, because Ralph said he was looking at the same things as what he was,
Yeah.
and then Ralph went to that room with the priest, and he was mightily intrigued of what was going on there.
Yeah, he started acting a bit suspiciously at that point, didn't he? But since he'd have seen that Ralph was privy to information that he didn't get access to, is he going to try and get access to it forcibly?
Exactly. It's good to be warned the priest. Was it Ralph that warned the priest?
I just hope that they've got some ways to protect themselves. They're all warrior monks, would be nice.
Right, I'm going to take coffee and turn in for the night.
Yeah. Are we going to the North Fields, or are we going to get another permit for King Stone as well?
Ralph, sir, what do you recommend? Would you like more information before we go to the fields?
I'd say it was mentioned for a reason. It may be worth just having a look, but whichever order.
How close are they to each other?
We may find everything at the dig that we need.
The
If
stone,
we don't,
as far as you know, is also in the northern fields.
And getting a pass for that as well. Oh, actually, if we've got a pass for the Northern Fields, would that
Yeah, we can. Our pass is to go to the northern fields, look around, but not do anything as in excavating.
Yeah, it's a non-excavation agreement.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we can take photos, we can write, we can look at whatever we want, but as long as we don't start digging stuff up.
So we can. The past should technically cover both.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
Although I've got a feeling they're going to expect us to go to one. They might not expect us to go to the Zankstone. So if we go there first, we might be able to get away with them not actually realizing we're there until after the fact. Whereas they can follow us from the other one to it. We go that way.
I do think we should go bright and breezy.
Oh yeah. After our chats with and breakfast with Akuna.
well, you settle down for the night. You're not quite sure what time it is, but it's still dark. When all three of you awake to the sound, well, a cracking sound. Alfred, can you give me a 2-point stability check, please? So, as always, your target number is 4, and you will lose 2 points of stability if you fail the roll. So you may spend as much stability as you wish. Okay. For a brief second, you felt that you were back there, back in the trenches, watching the horrors of your comrades being machine gunned, gassed, shot, blown up by the Jerrys. And then you kind of shake your head a little bit and you feel the warmth, and you feel the sheets around you, and you realise, no, you're in Ethiopia. But then the familiar sound of the rifle firing from outside. The rest of you, as you kind of come to, you hear this sounds of gunfire, shouting in Italian, of course, and a large commotion going on the camp beyond your sort of tented boundary border.
I'm going to roll.
Under attack.
Yeah, grab my rifle.
Yeah. Pick up the rifle and
Well,
get dressed.
No, I'm not going out there either. I'm going to stay in the tent and guard the tent. This is where our stuff is.
I'm going to put small clothes on, strap my pistol to me, and take the rifle and go to the entrance to the tent and look out, but surreptitiously.
Yeah,
Ralph?
Ralph will pick up, go to any documentation that's been lying around and the books that we've kept, make sure they're packed and ready to go in his go bag.
Okay, no problem. Alfred, poking your head out, you can see Italian soldiers running about. You can hear orders being barked. Several are heading to the western perimeter, which is kind of looking out towards the desert mostly. And you can see that the camp watchtowers, the spotlights, the sort of the pale yellowy incandescent spotlights are kind of shining out on the desert, where you can see the odd flash, muzzle flash. It's bigger than just a couple of people. So unless this is, whoever was following you has a small army at their disposal, this might just be a coincidence, a rather unfortunate coincidence from your perspective, but a coincidence nonetheless.
Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence. I also kind of expect it to be a distraction.
Okay.
So I'm going to be checking the opposite direction, see if anyone's trying to sneak into the camp.
All right. You see a familiar figure come bustling over towards you.
I'll hold my fire.
It's Golgoroth.
And then I'll fire.
A liar. Gabriella.
Okay.
My friends.
What's happening?
Ethiopian bandits attacking the camp.
Is this common?
Once or twice a month.
Is it about the right time? So it's a bit of a coincidence after us being followed.
Another crack, and this time you hear a kind of that whizzing sound, and Gabrielle kind of ducks down, kind of involuntarily, kind of glances over his shoulder. He only has his kind of pistol with him. He doesn't seem to have a rifle. It is often very random. They try and catch us off guard. But this is a little bit more frequent than we expected.
I would keep an eye out at other quarters as well, in case our rivals are hiring them as a distraction to try and come in another way.
Okay. There is shouting and screaming for the next sort of hour. There is definitely a trade of gunfire. Eventually, the Italians bring an LMG, and they kind of put it in there's obviously some areas where they can put it, and then they just light up as you would do with a 1930s LMG, but they kind of light up the desert, and gradually the shouts, the yells, the return fire fades. All in all, the raid seems to take about hour and a half before everything kind of descends back into an eerie quietness. The only thing you can hear both sides would be the groans, the cries, and the screams of the wounded that are lying either in and around the base from the Italian perspective or out in the desert from the Ethiopian perspective.
I'll draw outside and put them out of the misery. No.
Gradually, even that goes quiet as people die, people are put out of their misery, soldiers are tended to, given morphine to calm them and quiet them, and the camp surgeon and nurses begin their work. Doesn't seem to be any other activity. Nothing seems to come into the camp from a different direction. Doesn't seem to be a diversion.
How long had we been asleep?
It's about 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
I might stay on watch for the rest of the night, just to be on the safe side.
Okay.
No, don't do that. Alfred, if you have the first watch and then wake me up in 2 hours, I'll take the second watch, and then Ralph, if he's okay, can take the third watch.
Yep.
So 2 hours each.
Yeah, okay.
So the LMG that they used was a Brader 30. About 5 years old. side clip fed fixed clip. Very different to some of the other, belt fed machine guns.
Shouldn't want to build like Arnie and take that into
Yeah.
the out in the field.
Gabriella comes back after disappearing for a while and tells you that the raid was unsuccessful, that they were fought back. It was only a small raiding party trying to take advantage of the moonless night.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know. Was many people injured on our side?
10 wounded, 4 dead.
Give my condolences.
Thank you. Well, we should be okay for the rest of the night. Please,
Okay.
sleep.
We will. Thank you. And I'll keep watch, hiding from the shadows, so that if someone does try to sneak in,
You watch until the sun rises and you begin to see that familiar kind of heat haze out across the ground and the land around you. Very soon, soldiers begin to mill around, change of guard, some go off to the mess tent. There is a different mood, though. It's more of a somber mood. Conversations are a little bit more muted than previous conversations that you'd heard yesterday. But camp life seems to be normal.
In which case, think breakfast.
You wait till the initial rush of the soldiers passes and you head over to the mess tent. Indeed, you spot Akuna sort of in the officers area of the mess tent, and he rises to his feet and he gestures. You head over. Oh, my friends, I hope last night's excitement didn't keep you awake for too long.
not too long.
Good, good, good. They do try it on, the Ethiopians, They're not all happy to see us here.
So what are they raiding for? Steal supplies?
Supplies, power, weaponry, prisoners. Who knows, he says. But still, it happens. Gabriella tells me you had an interesting day yesterday in the cathedral. Anything to share, my friends?
Unusual encounter with another scholar there, Dr. Suleiman. Have you heard of him?
One of the EBA folk.
Yeah, I can't say I took a liking to him.
He's a bit aloof, isn't he?
Yeah.
Holds himself superior to others. That British accent of his.
I think probably intellectually he is. That's why. it is what it is.
Indeed.
You probably
Anything else?
can't dig a hole though. So
Probably not. Anything else of interest?
I think the more interesting thing was we were followed once we left there.
Somebody saw our research as a threat.
Interesting.
Don't know who, because Gabriella did an excellent job of losing the tail.
Right, that's to be expected.
Well, I half expected last night to be a distraction to infiltrate the camp, but paranoia was obviously setting in.
Well, it's good to be a little paranoid, my friend. For one never knows what may happen.
Very
We
true.
found that out at the at Dunall. Still, did you get permits?
We did. We plan on heading out to the Northern Fields